Hello, I'm Dr. Femi, and you're welcome to Easy Genetics. In this series, we'll be using mnemonics and song to understand genetics concept. We'll discuss several topics in genetics, so I intend to be fast. Genetics is the study of traits, and traits are genetically determined characteristics. A trait can be dominant or recessive. A dominant trait requires only a single abnormal gene for it to be expressed, whereas a recessive trait requires two recessive genes for it to be expressed. When one gene exists and the other is normal, we have a carrier state. A carrier state is not possible for a dominant gene because when a gene is present, just one gene is present, then you have the condition will be expressed. A carrier is an individual who has a single recessive gene, does not show symptoms of a disease or the features of a trait, but can pass it to the next generation. Genetic diseases can occur either on the autosomes, as the non-sex gene chromosomes, on sex chromosomes, and in the mitochondria. Now, mixing these up with dominant and recessive, we have the following pattern of inheritance: autosomal recessive, autosomal dominant, X-linked recessive, X-linked dominant. Here are images from zerostoffinal.com highlighting the inheritance pathway of autosomal recessive and autosomal dominant condition. On the left, the parents each have a single recessive gene and a single normal gene. So when we cross this 1 to 3, 1 to 4, 2 to 3, 2 to 4, we will now see that one of the outcome, 1 out of 4 will have the disease, 2 out of 4 will be a carrier, and 1 out of 4 will be normal. This is very important because up to 50% of the questions in genetics you will have to draw this. Now, looking to the side, we have inheritance pathway for autosomal dominant condition. Here, there is no carrier state, unlike the picture on the left. The two parents, they are carriers, but they do not express the disease condition. Very important. But on the right side, the father is showing the disease. He has symptoms of the disease condition because this is a dominant condition. When you cross 1 to 3, 1 to 4, 2 to 3, 2 to 4, you see the outcome that 50% of the children will have the disease, whereas 50% will be normal. In PLAB, most of the times a clinical scenario will be painted and you will be requested to know if this is an autosomal or X-linked condition, if it is recessive or dominant. So here are mnemonics that will help you to quickly be able to know where any of the diseases belong. First in the list is cystic with H there. Cystic fibrosis, sickle cell disease, thalassemia, hemochromatosis, infantile polycystic kidney disease. The adult polycystic kidney disease it has an autosomal dominant pattern of inheritance. So this is infantile. Then C is congenital adrenal hyperplasia. Now you can extend this. We have cystic fudge. Cystic fudge. A fudge is a bread made with potatoes, flour, and butter to form scones. So we still have our cystic and the fudge on the side. You can pause the video to study the list. The autosomal recessive condition is an alternative. an alternative mnemonic you can use to learn the autosomal recessive condition. Now, for our autosomal dominant condition, we have to sing. We have to sing. That's the easiest method that I found to remember the number of the autosomal condition. And here the song goes like this. Von, ALS, RBNEN, Tuesdays, Pheasant, Huntington, Marfan, Elands, Dan, NF1 and 2, don't far too much. Autosomal dominant, yes, this song is clutch. Now, this is the list there. Von, ALS, RBNEN, Tuesdays, Pheasant, Huntington, Marfan's, Elands, Dan, NF1 and 2, don't far too much. Autosomal dominant, yes, this song is clutch. The song, you sing it 1, 2, 3 times a day. Over 1 week, you will internalize it, and look at the number of disease condition that you can gain from it. This is an alternative for those that cannot sing. Dominant HPV. In this case, we have 6H in the. If you prefer this is good. You have a number of disease conditions here. X-linked recessive condition, Graham-Bell, 36PD deficiency, hemophilia A, hemophilia B, hydrocephalus, your Duchenne's and Baker's muscular dystrophy, Leishman syndrome, all this. You can easily recall any of these conditions as X-linked. An alternative, Chad's kinky wife got lucky. X-linked dominant, the Chicago Bulls dominated because they are the leaders to touch. I prefer this for my X-linked dominant. Alport is here, Fragile X syndrome is here, red ribbon for all children. Part of X-linked dominant, fair grid. Now we'll move to pedigree. Pedigree is a chart depicting how traits are inherited. And here you have, looking at this, you'll be able to know, is this X-linked? Is it autosomal, or is it mitochondrial form of inheritance? In your pedigree, the squares represent the male, the circles the females. When shaded, when the square is shaded, you have affected male. When the circle is shaded, affected female. If it is half shaded, it shows a carrier state. It shows a carrier state, and when it is crossed, it shows disease. It means diseased. Person is dead. Now, looking at this picture, there is a classic exam question where looking at this picture, and what's the mode of inheritance? I will share 1 or 2 methods you can use to easily clean this up in your exam. The first row for the X-linked inheritance, FDD MSR. Father to daughter is dominant, mother to son is recessive. FDD MSR, please, you need to cram this. It's a rule, you have to know it. Okay, when you see something like this, affected female, the male unaffected, and all of their children, they are affected. All of their male children, they are affected. So immediately you just think of FDD and MSR. So in this case, we are talking about MSR, mother to all kids, to all sons. This is a recessive, X-linked recessive. Then look at this, affected father to all the daughters are affected. So this FDD, father to daughter dominant. So this X-linked dominant distance. Remember the rule, FDD MSR. That's all you need for your X-linked inheritance. For the autosomal inheritance, It's what we have been discussing. Are the parents, are they affected? That's the first thing you have to look at. Initially I explained that a dominant condition, the parents will show the disease condition. There is no carrier state in dominant trait. So when both parents does not show the disease, so we're already talking about recessive here. Look at the generation above any of the generation that is highlighted and know if the parents shows the clinical condition or not. So parents not affected is a recessive condition. One or both parents affected, we are talking about a dominant condition. So once you get that, you keep that. You now want to know, is it an autosomal recessive and autosomal dominant? Now, if the inheritance, that's on the next generation, all right, the parents are not affected, so we are dealing with recessive, right? Now, the way the disease is spread across, is it peculiar to males? Is it peculiar to females, or is it haphazard? If it's male or female, then you're talking about an autosomal condition. Whereas this thing, if it's X-linked condition, it will be peculiar. Maybe only the males will have it, or only the females will have it in X-linked conditions. Then now, are the parents affected? Yes. So that means this is a dominant condition. Good. Then you want to know, is it autosomal dominant or X-linked dominant? It's the same pattern. If only the males or the females are, are affected. Now look at this question of a 25 years old man who experienced severe intolerance to certain medications. On two occasions, his reaction to various drugs has necessitated hospital admission. His family pedigree with respect to this condition is shown below, with the red arrow indicating his position within the family. Assuming that this condition demonstrates complete penetrance, so what is the likely inheritance pattern? So for him here, both of his parents did not show the clinical condition, right? So we're talking about recessive now. There is a male here, there is a male here. So we're talking about X linked. So this X linked recessive, looking at this pedigree, X linked recessive. Then this is another pedigree where you have to know this first. Where do they belong? Understand? Where does this belong? Is it autosomal dominant or recessive hemophilia B? Is it autosomal dominant, or is this X-linked? All those things before you can interpret it. But looking at this, both parents are not affected, so we're talking about recessive, right? Then a male here, a male here, a female there. So we're talking about autosomal recessive. Now we have autosomal recessive. Which of these is autosomal recessive? Now hemophilia B is X-linked. Huntington is autosomal dominant. Liver hereditary optic neuropathy, that's a mitochondrial disease. So we're left with classic galactosemia. That is galactosemia. Check your Faj there. The G in the Faj, that's your galactosemia. We move forward. Imprinting and methylation. Genomic imprinting is an epigenetic phenomenon that causes gene to be expressed or not, depending on whether they are inherited from the father or the mother. Methylation turns off a gene. The biochemical process of methylation turns off a gene, and depending on the gene that is turned off, either the one received from the father or the one received from the mother, it determines the type of phenotype that is expressed. And this brings us to two very important clinical conditions. Now, Prader-Willi and Angelman syndrome. These two occur as a result of deletion on chromosome 15. The abnormality is on chromosome 15. Now, when it is paternally inherited, it is what? Prader-Willi. When it is maternally inherited, Angelman, M for maternal. And looking at this picture mnemonic, and by the way, this picture is from Dirty Medicine on the YouTube link that I shared here. Prader-Willi, this child, as a child, had failure to thrive. As the child grew older, this child cannot stop eating. He keeps eating. The parents will start to hide food from this child. He becomes so obese and short. And when you look at this Darth Vader picture here, this guy does not have testicle. It's just reflecting the hypogonadism that we have in Prader-Willi. The clincher for Angelman, this child keeps laughing. The child cannot stop laughing. Prader-Willi cannot stop eating, and Angelman cannot stop laughing. That's the thing about this. It's an imprinting, chromosome 15, when paternally inherited, Prader-Willi, when maternally inherited, Angelman. And this is on trisomy. We have PED 13, 18, 21. So we have Patel, Edward, and Down syndrome. So we have the PMP CTCS. So when you think of a CT scan, a cesarean section, you think of hospital, right? PMP CTCS. Patel, microcephaly, microphthalmia. That's the CT there. It goes with the N in the middle. Microcephaly and microphthalmia. Prominent calcaneus, polydactyly. The CS is cleft lip and palate scalp defect. Then EMPCG, electromagnetic pulse with spoiling your computer graphic. Edward, microcephaly, micrognathia, prominent occiput and calcaneus. And the last one here we have drapes, flat drapes for Down syndrome, flat occiput, flat face. D for Down syndrome, duodenal atresia, have AV septal defect, protruding tongue, epicondral fold, and single palmar trace. So by and large, we've done a lot, we've covered a lot in this video, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for listening. Cheers.